brand new interview with Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey. He's told our political editor Chris Hope that he's held talks with European Union leaders about closer ties with Europe, but won't give a timeline on when the UK should join the single market. Well, let's have a listen to this astonishing interview.
Ed Davey, will you be Prime Minister on July the 5th?
When I took over the leadership of the Liberal Democrats in 2019, we'd had 3 really tough elections, and we lost our way a little bit. And my first speech, you may remember, I said we need to wake up and smell the coffee. And what I said I wanted to do was really listen to people, listen to their concerns, and make sure that when we got to this election, our policies responded to them. And that's one of the reasons why today, in the launch of our Fair Deal for Britain, we've talked about rescuing the health service, we've talked about the cost of living, we've talked about things like the sewage scandal, and I think more and more people are coming to our cause. You've heard me say that I think we can win lots of seats off Conservatives in the home counties, in the West Country and elsewhere, and I think we could be on a bit of a roller coaster ride here and do very well.
Ed Davey PM?
Listen,
because Joe Swinton said so in 2019.
Well, what I think you should do in an election is not take the voters for granted. One of my criticisms of the Conservatives is that they've taken their own voters for granted. You know, people who've been voting Conservative all their lives feel really let down. They feel that Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives are totally out of touch. And so during this campaign, I'm not going to focus about what happens after the election. I'm going to focus on listening to people and explaining to people our policies and our ideas. And I think the more we do that, the more we will win people to our colours.
What is liberalism? What is it?
Oh, it's holding the very powerful to account and helping ordinary people be more powerful. Right. So make sure they've got the health services they need, make sure they can get a decent, affordable home, to make sure their children get an opportunity, to make sure that the water companies don't get away with pumping their filthy sewage. So liberalism is about making sure that the vast majority of people get a fair deal.
So this document, this manifesto is aimed at Labour voters or Tory voters, because it seems quite Labour votery, you know, lifting the two limit child benefit cap, championing human rights, free school meals for children, and so it goes on, 0.7% of aid spending. This is aimed at Labour voters, right?
No, it's aimed at Liberal Democrat voters, people who
are they then? Yeah.
Well, they're going to come from all parts of the spectrum, and we're finding them on doorsteps, people who've previously voted Labour all their lives, like what we're saying, but actually people, this is a really big difference, I've never seen this in my political lifetime, lifelong Conservatives saying they're fed up with the Conservatives and they're going to vote Liberal Democrat. And in that policy document, our manifesto, there's lots of things that I think traditional Conservatives would like. Our focus on restoring proper community policing, for example. So there's
burglaries investigated.
Exactly, tackling the burglaries, which under the Conservatives haven't been tackled. But let me give you other examples. Our economic policies. I mean, people used to think they could trust the Conservatives with their money. They can't anymore. They've massively increased taxes. Actually, in that document, we've got a capital gains tax cut for most people who.
Is that mentioned here? I can't see it here.
Well, you heard me, and I'll say it again.
It's not the document, though.
Well, it should be, because we've talked about capital gains tax reform.
Right.
And in that reform, about 2/3 of people who pay capital gains tax, and let's remember it's only 1% of the population who do, but 2/3 of them will either pay no more or pay less.
Yes.
It's only the multimillionaires and the billionaires who pay a higher tax rate. So I think that's just fair. I think the vast majority of Tory voters will like it. And let me give you another example. Take what we're saying on the British Army.
Yeah, 100,000.
We want to reverse the Conservative cuts to the British Army. I think that's the right thing to do.
So you're facing both Labour and the Tories, aren't you? You're kind of you're defined by your opponents each time, where you are in the country.
No, sorry, Christopher.
Is that grossly unfair to you?
No, you're doing that. I'm not. I'm saying here's some great, ambitious Liberal Democrat ideas. Come and read them. Come and talk to us about them, and hopefully you'll really like them. And not only that, we've got great candidates who'd be real fantastic champions for their communities.
Local champions is the idea, isn't it?
Yeah. And then national champions, right? So you champion your area in Westminster, but also you are part of the national debate.
Is it a wasted vote if you're not saying you can be Prime Minister? Is it a wasted vote to have local champions not not MPs who are in a big party that can run the country?
Listen, I think getting a great local champion in Westminster can make a massive difference for a family, a community. Oh, yeah, huge examples. I mean, honestly, it's really interesting in the West Country where we had many MPs. People are saying they remember when they had a Liberal Democrat MP. They were visible. They helped them. They championed the area. They got things done. Okay. And one of the reasons why Conservative voters are switching to us in those traditional areas, from Cornwall and St Ives to Taunton and Yeovil and Wells and Dorset and so many places like that. People are switching to us because they said, you know what, when we had a Liberal Democrat MP, we actually saw them. Yeah. They actually did stuff. They cared for us, and they won that back.
You do mention Brexit. Now, Brexit was a big debate in 2019,
yeah.
And of course that's been and gone. But you do say you're a four-stage process to get towards single market entry. Is that this decade, if you have any control of power?
Well, it's difficult to say because the Conservatives have so poisoned Britain's relationship with our nearest neighbours in Europe that it's going to take quite a while to rebuild the trust.
Years? I mean, how?
Well,
give us a guide.
I genuinely don't know. And I know you like me to say it's going to happen there, but I can't know, can I?
No.
Because we need to engage with them. We have a four-stage process. We couldn't be clearer about the things we'd like to do for that. One of the things we'd like to do is to get a better trade deal. I mean, the trade deal that Boris Johnson, the Conservatives, got has been a disaster.
That's been reviewed, of course, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's a chance to review it, and we can get a much better trade deal. I've spoken with European politicians who say, you know what, trade is in our mutual benefit. We don't
reopen all the horrors of. Just the divisiveness of Brexit.
No, we don't want to do that. We absolutely don't want to do that because it was for many people it was exhausting, and that's one of the reasons why we're being, I think, very practical, very realistic, taking a step-by-step approach. But I do genuinely think better relationships with your neighbours is a good thing.
So it's not a way to vote for the Liberal Democrats?
I think it's a very powerful vote. I actually think it's the most powerful vote anyone can cast on the 4th of July.
OK, just finally here, you want a tax policy that recognises how high taxes have gone under the Tory party, but all you're committing to is raising the personal allowance, nothing else. On rates, they'll stay where they are, will they?
Yeah, well, we don't think taxes should go up. I mean, the Conservatives have put taxes up to record levels, and that's one of the reasons why we want to...
Thresholds will go up as well, will they?
Well, what we've said in the manifesto is we would like, as our first priority for tax cuts when resources allow, when the public finance allow, to take people out of tax. And people know that we did that before, and they know that the Conservatives have reversed that. So if you believe in helping low paid out of tax, a Liberal Democrat vote is a good one. If you want to push more people into tax, vote Conservative.
So Ed Davey, thank you for joining us today on GB News. Thank you.
Thank you.